Hello everybody, Joseph from Recruitment Academy, Prague, Wenceslas Square, Czech Republic. Welcome to the webinar, Recruitment Engineering in the Transhuman Age. We will be talking about technologies, we will be talking about sourcing business, recruitment business, and we will be talking about how you can be, let's say, tomorrow a better recruiter in terms of, for example, usage of technologies, how to actually handle it. Just a little bit of background. Of course, if you know me, you know that I'm a former software engineer. I'm from IT security. I'm from this sphere. But currently, for let's say past 6 years, when we started a new venture, good call Recruitment Academy and Recruit, we are heavily in sourcing business. Anyway, I was doing recruitment for more over maybe 12-13 years because I started right after I started my career as a programmer, as a software engineer, but then I realized that there might be a gap in the market, and I took a chance. I wrote a book, People as Merchandise, and so on. Anyway, I will be showing you some data and some analytics behind sourcing, behind recruitment, and good call for us is a company where we actually do the recruitment, where we do the sourcing. We have 140 employees, where most of these employees, maybe 60%, are actually talent sourcers. Yeah, so these people are doing this business on everyday basis, including, of course, LinkedIn, including Facebook, Instagram, including Kontakte, including Golden Line. We have a branch in Poland, for example, as well. For the past 12 months, we did over actually 700 placements. If I put there also our RPO team, where we rent recruiters, it would be something over 1,400 placements. So we, I think, have quite a lot of analytics I can show you behind this. Recruit is our technology platform, because Recruit is ATS. We are building our own ATS. We believe that technology is a crucial part of almost any business, right? So regardless if like Uber is basically a technology company, Airbnb, it's also a technological company. So we believe the same way. That's why we started since the beginning with our internal development team, and Recruit is currently our ATS platform, which, by the way, we sell to other companies as well, including companies like Deloitte, to smaller companies with 1 or 2 recruiters. All right, this is our team, and really successful in what they are doing. So let's dive into the topic. I will be a little bit glimpsing on the left here to see if you have any questions. If you have any question, feel free to put it under the video, and I will of course answer it for you. 5 years challenge. You know these pictures. 10 years challenge and so on. This is actually Richard Matthew Stallman. A lot of people is telling me that this is Bill Burman, but this is not Bill Burman, the guy behind True Events. This is Richard Matthew Stallman, and if you Google Richard Matthew Stallman, you will find, for example, this screenshot from some movie or some interview with him, where you can see they call him the last MIT hacker. But hacker, we know, if you visit conferences like maybe Evolve Summit in Brno, maybe Sourcing Summit in Amsterdam, Estonia, anywhere else. Now, next month there will be Sourcing Summit in Tel Aviv, Sourcing Summit Mediterranean. If you are going there to Tel Aviv, we can have a talk there. You can see a lot of speeches about hacking, sometimes about growth hacking, which is a little bit something else. But about hacking, how to overcome some limitations, maybe how to use Google to do something, and so on. But in this way, there was, for example, LinkedIn hacker Yevgeny Nikulin actually busted in Prague for hacking the personal data of LinkedIn and Foursquare. This is probably not what this guy Richard Matthew Stallman meant by hacking. We, in 2015, actually, at Sourcing Summit Amsterdam, we created this device where, with this device, we are able to send SMS to anybody who is like nearby this device. Yeah, so you can imagine you have a factory there, out there in the fields. You take this device, you go there, you send SMS to all of the employees in the building, and you run away. It's possible. Technically, this is possible. Last time in Sourcing Summit Germany and Sourcing Summit Estonia, we used this simple Wi-Fi device where there is an antenna, Raspberry Pi computer, and Wi-Fi device. And what we created is kind of a fake LinkedIn. So you connected to a fake Wi-Fi, which was called SOSUFree, as you can see, hashtag SOSUFree. So you thought this is like official Sourcing Summit Wi-Fi, and you could access internet by pressing a button, access by LinkedIn. You hit access by LinkedIn, this window opened, and you can see it looks like LinkedIn. You have almost zero chance to notice, to spot if this website is actually a valid LinkedIn or some fake LinkedIn. And as you can see, quite a lot of people, the list was actually even longer, gave us not only email address, so we knew who's in the building, who's at the conference. Imagine this is a meetup full of CFO, it might be CFO Congress, so you can see, aha, I have now a list of people who are most probably CFOs, but we have also their LinkedIn password. So this is hacking, but in, let's say, the bad way, the black hat hacking. But Richard Matthew Stallman, by hacking and by him being called a hacker, it was 70s in the US, free software, which doesn't mean like software which is free of charge, but it means like a freedom software, and open source where we deliver, or companies, for example, like Red Hat, they are selling their Red Hat Enterprise Linux system, but it's open source. So you pay for the software, but you can access actually the source code of the software. Free software, on the other hand, is a software which is most likely open source as well, but the whole community is cooperating on this software and working together to build some software. As well as in sourcing. Imagine now we are exchanging some information. When you go to Sourcing Summit, you are also exchanging information. Some people will, on the stage, will provide you with some framework, how to source this and that, and you can elevate this, you can take this and you can improve it to do something even better. Yeah, so we share this, but the problem is that we might be quite overwhelmed. Imagine that you are a regular sourcer or 360-degree recruiter at a company. You might be pretty overwhelmed by the number of tools, information, which you are bombarded every day. Imagine, for example, recruiterhunt.com. It's a website full of tools, like for job boards, 69 tools, for interviewing, screening and assessment, 104 tools, and so on. We can see HR Stack by Improver. As you can see, hundreds of tools, including ATS systems, including things for artificial intelligence, automation, and so on. We can see the list by Martin Freeman, another huge list of tools. Susanna Fraser as well. You can see her website. There is a list of recommended tools she actually uses for recruitment and sourcing. Irina Shamayeva, the sourcing queen, she has her list as well. Todd Davis, a nice list with tags and categories, with links to the tools, overview of the tools, but the same way, you can feel overwhelmed. Dean Da Costa spent 3 months doing this huge list of tools, plugins, for example, even like people to follow sites and feeds, for example, in regards to sourcing and recruitment. Yeah, so he claimed spending 3 months on this. So imagine just reading that. It's a huge database of tools. Maybe you heard the term OSINT, open source intelligence, where you can use kind of like not open source, but let's say publicly available tools and sources to verify some personal data, some locations, and so on. So in this case, you can see osintframework.com. I clicked on email address, email verification, and I have here 5 different email validator tools which I can use to validate your email. As you can see, OSINT resource by Mark Kranat, whose certification CISSP which means that this guy is from actually IT security. These OSINT tools are being used by people from IT security to do some kind of penetration testing, maybe some kind of social engineering countermeasures and so on. And we use these tools and software for sourcing as well. So transhumanism, if you have never heard of this term, it's kind of, I would say, a movement or like a philosophical movement where we try to enhance our capabilities to another level with usage of technologies. Imagine you have 24 hours, you are able to contact only some number of candidates every day, you are able to screen some number of candidates, you are able to arrange meetings, just meetings, interviews with the candidates only in some amount every day. But with the technologies, you can go further. Yeah, you can maybe triple yourself over the day, and you will see even a few practical tools how to do that. So there may be technologies which you are not aware that they can be actually used in recruitment. There is Google Cloud speech-to-text technology, which you can actually try. If you open this website, you click try it free. You can do, I'm speaking here, right? I'm speaking. And with this tool, you can transcribe this speech into text. So imagine you have a phone call with a candidate. You have a phone call, screen call with a candidate. This screen call can be saved after the call is finished into your database, into your ATS, into your applicant tracking system, and there the call can be transformed into text. The beautiful thing about text is that it's searchable, unlike the audio file like MP3. It's not searchable. You need to transcribe it to text, and then it's searchable. So your colleague can find some candidate in your database just by using a word which was used on the call with the candidate. Yeah, this is already which you are able to do. Lyrebird technology, again, you can try it. Open Lyrebird and you can try to clone your own voice, like copy your own voice. So you can take some, let's say, a better microphone. You need to read maybe 30 sentences on the microphone, and then you can just type, like in Microsoft Word, you are just typing the text, and then you can let this Lyrebird read this text with your voice. So imagine you have a candidate who's going tomorrow for the interview. This candidate can receive a call from you, but the call will not be exactly from you. It will be from the database, where with your own voice, the candidate will be said something like, hey, Mr. Candidate, tomorrow you have interview at this company at this time, good luck. Yeah? Be prepared for this. But it will be done with your own voice, so engagement of course will be, let's say, similar as you would do your call manually. But the thing is, during the call is being done, you are doing something else. So again, you can double, triple yourself, for example, by this technology, because the technology will be doing something for you. Imagine Google Duplex technology. Google was claiming how to use this technology. I don't know, 1 year ago, maybe you saw the video where the Google Duplex voice bot was actually calling to a restaurant and to hair salon to basically just arrange a meeting. Yeah, the restaurant and the other place, they didn't recognize that the voice bot is not a real person. It sounded like a real person. So imagine a near future, you have your mobile phone, you will just say, hey Google, I need you to arrange a meeting with this candidate for tomorrow at 15 p.m. Normally you would do that maybe with your assistant, but now you will do it with a virtual assistant, literally like a robotic software assistant, and this assistant will call and do this for you. So again, you can double or triple yourself, because you will be able to handle more work over the same period of time. In China, for example, they have this virtual anchor, Xinhua. So this is not a real person. It looks like a real person. People normally watch it like TV news, but it's not a real person. Just people who are handling this, they just supply the software with the text, and this kind of robot, which is just a graphical virtual robot, is reading the text, but it's not a real thing. It's just a software in the computer. So when part of this presentation will be also how to do these video messages to candidates. Why actually to do these video messages to candidates? With this technology, you will be able to do these messages on autopilot. So again, you will have more capacity. The problem, maybe you are saying like, why are not we using this technology like right now? The problem is that, as well as with, for example, Tesla and autonomous vehicles, still there is some percentage of cases where actually the car will crash. And that's the problem. Yeah. So imagine here, for example, the AI, the artificial intelligence, the task was, hey, artificial intelligence, select just pictures of a muffin or cupcake or whatever it is. But as you can see, the artificial intelligence, in this case, it's not able to distinguish the difference between cupcake and chihuahua. Yeah, that's the problem. So in relation to like the real, for example, the autonomous vehicles and so on, as you can see, that might be the problem. So on these demonstrations by Google and so on, we actually hear only the best case scenarios, but usually the technology is applicable only when the worst case scenarios are limited, let's say, to a minimum. So the problem is we are overwhelmed. Sourcers as, let's say, our employees, recruiters as our employees, you as maybe a freelance sourcer, maybe you are RPO sourcer or recruiter somewhere at a company, working for some company as kind of like a rented recruiter. You might be overwhelmed by the number of tools, technologies, which you need to use every day. So how to translate this transhumanism, the usage of technologies, into a real sourcing business? Imagine that, for example, Czech Republic, it might be a nice example. We are now in the Czech Republic here. Czech Republic still has the lowest unemployment rate in the whole European Union. Actually, the second lowest unemployment rate in the whole world, right after Singapore. Yeah. So imagine we have basically no active workforce on the market, and imagine if you are a candidate on the market, which means that you are just employee or specialist on the market, you have, for example, LinkedIn profile, you are heavily bombarded by a ton of companies, yeah? Which create a challenge for other companies and recruiters actually to hire people and then of course retain those people and so on. So imagine this real example. This is actually from DataCruit, as I mentioned, our ATS, where you have these different kind of reports which you can use. Commodity buyer, position commodity buyer at some automotive company, and as you can see on the long list, 92 people, 4 people we had for the CV out, so, which means that 4 people were actually interested in the role, and 4 people actually were probably suitable for the role based on our screening. 3 people invited for the interview, 1 offer, 1 placement. Days to fill, 31 days, so roughly 1 month. And there was 1 recruiter and 1 sourcer working on that. Yeah, our structure is simply, our recruitment process is simply divided, let's say, in half: sourcing and recruitment. Now we are doing more sophisticated sourcing, when even the sourcing is now divided into more pieces, because when we are speaking about transhumanism and, for example, automation, you are not able to automate one big complex thing. You need to cut it, you need to break it down to smaller bits, and those smaller bits, some of them maybe might be automated, and then of course our intention is to have more effective sourcers. The outcome per 1 sourcer should be higher. So now because of course it's different, a commodity buyer, and as you can see, for example, JavaScript developer for some advertisement company, it's suddenly over 138 people on the long list. So let's say, sorry, not significantly higher, but definitely higher. As you can see, from 1 sourcer, currently we have 6 sourcers working on that. not all of them were actually like full-time, of course, but still it's 6 sourcers, because approach, well, let's say with some high quality techniques, 138 people, it's not that easy. 5 people outcome, 4 people for the interview, 1 offer, and 1 placement, 35 days. Yeah. So now, even at our company, at Good Call, we are breaking down the sourcing into, is it this type of role, for example, IT, is it, for example, multilingual type of role, and so on, and there will be a different flow in terms of sourcing. It will not be unified as it was kind of till today, yeah, so 4 to 5 years, because when we need to improve our process, we need to go forward with something. So on average, this is just average numbers. On average, we need to approach 70 people to get that one hire. Yeah. So imagine some people are telling me like, yeah, I approached these 5 people here, but I have, like, for example, on LinkedIn, but I have no placement from that. Yeah. 5 is like, that would be actually an accident where you would hire someone from 5 people approached on LinkedIn. 70 is the average. When you compare it with American numbers or numbers from Western Europe, it's actually similar. Some other sources, they say 50 to 60 in Western Europe. We can say that Czech market might be a little bit tougher. That is why the number is a little bit higher. And of course, if you are agency, the number is usually higher than if you are in-house. Yeah? So usually, even some sources from Western Europe, they say, for example, 50 if you are in-house, 60 if you are agency. Yeah? So I usually say the best way it would be when your CEO is doing all the recruitment. That would be the best, right? Because everybody would accept invitation, for example, or message from your CEO, but it's not possible. That's why it's delegated to HR, and then if it's not possible, it's delegated to other third-party agencies. But the further it's from the source, which is kind of like the CEO, the numbers are higher, literally said. So, what's the problem here? The sourcer job is getting complicated. Imagine what you, as a sourcer, or if you are 360 recruiter, what do you need to do? You need to do searching. Yeah, you need to create a long list, right? If you are looking for, I don't know, accountant in Warsaw with Polish and German language, for example, you need to create the long list. So you need to handle social media like LinkedIn, maybe Golden Line in Poland in this case, maybe Facebook, maybe Instagram, maybe Amazing Hiring if you are doing IT roles and you want to use some kind of aggregators, maybe Talentwunder if you are on a German market, Zinc, maybe Viadeo, maybe Kontakte if you are interested in Eastern markets. Maybe you need to know what is Source Hub. Maybe you need to know what Recruitment is and be able to create these X-ray searches over various sources. So that's long listing. Then you need to be able to gather information about candidates. Yeah. So it's not a rocket science, but if you want to improve your response rate, you usually need to personificate the approach. Yeah. So which means not only send a stupid information, or not stupid, but just like plain information over LinkedIn that you found this person and his accountant in Warsaw, but you should be able to look maybe into Facebook, maybe into Twitter, maybe into Instagram, and find some more information. Maybe you will find out that this person is currently attending or recently attended accounting conference, and just this information can be easily used to improve the response rate of your outbound messages. So you maybe need to Google search this person. Maybe you will find actually some information on company's website, anywhere else. Propet or Connectifier Social Links, these two plugins are doing this simple thing that you open LinkedIn profile and you can easily see if someone is on Facebook or maybe some other social media or not, and you quickly have access to this Facebook profile. You are saving time and you have this easy access. You will actually see it. Then you need to approach the person, but still, to approach the person, you need to first have a technical way how to approach the person. Will you be sending email, or will it be like a LinkedIn invitation, or maybe you need to find out what email address of this person is. Maybe you need to find out what the telephone number of this person is. Yeah? So tools like Contact Out, Hire Tool, Lucia, maybe Sales Navigator for Gmail. It's a free plugin from LinkedIn, and when the person is actually on LinkedIn, you can quite easily find and guess what the email address of this person is, just by the fact that this person is presented on LinkedIn. Then approaching like approaching like what to put into the message, where you can, for example, use Mixmax or Lemlist for so-called email sequencing. Email sequencing is a way how you can create, for example, 3 different emails, and you will send the first email to a candidate. The software will wait, for example, 3 days. When the person like haven't replied in 3 days, the second email will be sent to the person, and then when, for example, the person didn't reply in another 4 days, the person will receive another email. Normally you would do the follow-up manually, right? You would be checking who's actually replied to your emails and who not, and you will be doing this manually. With this Mixmax or Lemlist, you can automate the process. Loom or BombBomb, those are tools, plugins actually, for creating of these video messages. Yeah, so with the video messages, we will see that later on, you can heavily improve your response rate. Mighty Text, it's it's a tool which you can easily use for sending SMSs right from your desktop, so you can be more effective. Sourcers and recruiters, they need to pick up the phone, so they need to have these kind of, let's say, soft skills, and be able to pick up the phone, call to the company, and these type of things. There is also offline sourcing. People can come to events, can come to conferences, and so on, meet people face to face. You can actually create your own conferences. Yeah, you can create your own hackathons, events, and so on. I know few companies who basically based their recruitment on conferences. Yeah, and one of them is, for example, Red Hat, the company I already mentioned before. There are conference apps which are full of candidates, which, if you know how, you can use for sourcing. And then, of course, sourcing automation, what I just said here, how part of this can be automated. We didn't mention inbound sourcing. Yeah, sourcers can also on their own put their advertisement for different roles and so on. Yeah, you can open, for example, canva.com, create some visual, some picture for the role, and you can put it here into a Facebook group, here into your LinkedIn profile, and so on. So this is one angle of that as well. So as you can see, it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot for a one sourcer to know, or recruiter, of course, to know all these things. Even with our company, it's impossible to have all the sourcers on the same level with all of this knowledge. And it's not only impossible because a person wouldn't absorb this information, but it's a problem that, let's say, searching is kind of going against approaching. It's difficult to find a one person with all of these perks. Because imagine talent sourcer searching. If you ever search, for example, on LinkedIn, Google, and so on, you know that you need to know some Boolean logic. Yeah? You need to be systematic. You need to know how to create different kind of search strings and so on. So it's kind of techy, right? That's why I put here most from the TV series IT Crowd. So it's maybe more kind of geeky or nerdy, this kind of stuff. For automation, it's even more hardcore. Let's say it's even more hardcore in terms of IT, because you need to know different kind of tools, how to scrape something, how to do some post-production of these CSV files, Excel files, and so on. That might be a little bit my profile, as you can see based on the picture. But approaching is something completely different. Those people are able to pick up the phone. Those people are natural when sending messages to people, when replying to people, and so on. And it's really difficult to find a person who's, let's say, really good in all of these angles. That's why one hint for you, and that's what we are currently implementing at our company, might be actually to divide your recruitment team into searchers and into approachers. Yeah, approachers, most likely the group will be, the volume will be definitely higher than for searchers. One searcher can easily supply, for example, 5 different approachers, because it's just based on the principle of the work. So how to recognize bad sourcers? Imagine at the beginning where we started over 5 years ago with like one team of sourcers, 5 sourcers. We didn't know who's, like, if the output we have from the sourcers is good or not. Yeah, because we couldn't compare it to anything. There were no benchmarks on the market. Yeah? So now we know, because we measure sort of everything. So now we can say that, for example, an effective sourcer produces 1 presentable candidate for a hiring manager per 1 day as a minimum. So as you can see, hours to have 1 qualified candidate is on average 6 hours or 6.66, and hours to a CV out, which means like that we are sending a candidate to a hiring manager, it's 11 hours. Yeah, and easily, as you can see, the red and green parts, we can easily distinguish between people who are below the average and who are above the average. Yeah, now with the volume of people, it's possible. Then of course one variable can be also if you are doing just IT, or if you are comparing IT to marketing roles and so on. To actually achieve these numbers, those sourcers need to do 3 to 4 press screens a day. If they are doing just, for example, just 1 or 2, they will not reach the target. They will not reach the numbers. Yeah, they will be below average. So 3 to 4 press screens a day. This is a little complicated table. You don't have the description here, but when you know this, you can actually measure how much your sourcing costs per, for example, branch, per team, and so on. Yeah, so you can say, for example, at this team or at this branch or at this country, we are spending 82 hours per 1 placement period. Yeah, when you know how many what's the wage of your sourcer, you can just multiply 82 times the hourly wage of the sourcer, and you know what is your average cost for sourcing per 1 role. Yeah, otherwise it's kind of somewhere in the shadow, but you need to do that. When you check the source of hire, as you can see, for example, for us, most of the candidates are from LinkedIn, 32 candidates. 40 candidates are from ATS, where of course most of those candidates will be from LinkedIn as well. We use, for example, a local job boards like jobs.cz. We use referrals. We use Facebook. We use other different channels. So that's just like the overview, how you can see it from the perspective of the business, from the perspective of if you are maybe, for example, a manager of the business, if you are a manager of the recruitment team, talent acquisition team, and so on. This is the overview. But how you, if you are a sourcer or if you are 360 recruiter, how you can become a competitive on the market? I would say 3 rules. 1 rule, the first rule, be exhaustive with your searches. When I'm looking, I have example here. I'm looking for account town in Brno, in the Czech Republic. Brno is just a city in the Czech Republic, the 2nd largest city, and I'm looking for account town. So maybe a sourcer will do this type of search. In the title there is account town, in industries there is accounting, and location Brno. What's the problem here? This search will definitely find results. The results will be a good results in terms of the relevancy. There will be definitely relevant results, but the problem is that it will be just some of the results, the first thing, and the second thing is that some of the results, or those results I have, will be easily searchable by any other sources and recruiters. So these people will be probably bombarded by messages more often than maybe some other group of people, untapped people, which I can uncover when I adjust this search into a different shape. So first, title. This is not sufficient because, of course, some people will be called accountant on this position, correct, but some people will be called accounting specialist, maybe some people will be called accountancy something. Yeah, so accountant is not the only term you need to use. When you are in Germany, you would maybe use a local term which is Buchhalter. Yeah, but imagine the German Buchhalter, the German accountant, can move to Poland. The accountant will be in Poland. The person will change his country from German to Poland, but his profile, the keywords on the profile, are still in German, right? So even if I'm doing the search in the Czech Republic in this case, I would definitely use Slovak terms, Polish terms, maybe German terms, some other terms where I can expect that some accountants could move into the Czech Republic. Another angle is that with the title, you are able to find only people who are actually on the position right now. If you want to find with a non-paid version people who used to be accountants before, you need to use the top field, which is right on the top, keywords. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Second thing, industries. We put here accounting, but the problem is that imagine you are accountant at, I don't know, Mercedes-Benz, or you are accountant at Volkswagen Group. Yeah. So in this case, there is a big chance that you put your industry not accounting, but automotive. Yeah. If you work as accountant for Raiffeisen Bank, you probably put there banking, right? So accounting, I wouldn't combine with the title accountant. I would create two separate searches where one is accountant, accountancy, accounting, Buchhalter, and so on. And the second search across the board, across all the industries. And the second search would be just accounting at that location. Because you can find some person who's just specialist. The title is specialist, but because the person put herself or himself into the accounting industry, that makes him or her accountant, yeah, with some probability. So in this case, I call it that you use like a double condition, yeah, which you will shorten your results. Yeah, so you need to search for accountant separately and for accounting industries separately. And location, it's really tricky, especially when you use location as cities. When you use countries, it's not so tricky. It can be as well, because a lot of people, I don't know, a friend of mine was working, for example, in Frankfurt for Google for 1 year. Then he moved back to the Czech Republic. And of course, when he was there, he changed his location from Czech Republic to Germany. But he was ultimately a candidate for Czech Republic as well. But most of the recruiters are just with the boundaries of the country. Yeah, they don't go beyond. But when you are doing the search, let's say on the towns and city levels, there are big problems. In this case, we have their district Brno city. We would need to put there at least district Brno country as well to have like a broader area. But how about the cities around Brno? A lot of people are commuting to cities from different cities around. How about people with obsolete zip code on their profile? This is purely driven by the zip code on your profile. So people with zip code of a different city who move into Brno will not be in the search. How about people without any zip code on the profile? Yeah, zip code is not a mandatory field on your profile. It's a problem. So you should combine this with keywords where you put the name of the cities. Maybe someone mentioned in the text that he's working for a Brno branch of this company as accountant. Yeah, you should create a list of companies in Brno or in the location, and you should be searching by that instead of location. You can use schools as well. If someone is if someone studied in university in Brno, we can assume that the person might be in relation with this city. Yeah, so as you can see, it's not that easy. It's LinkedIn, it's the basic skills. All of you probably use it, but to use it properly, it's not that easy. By the way, here is the link. If you don't have a paid version of LinkedIn and you want to be searching by a zip code with a radius, you can use this link. In this link, you just change the postal code. The postal code will be the postal code of the city where you are looking for the people. Distance is a radius in miles or kilometers. To be honest, I don't know. And country code is the country code. So in the Czech Republic, it's CZ. In Poland, it will be PL. In Germany, it will be DE. In UK, it will be UK, right? United Kingdom, UK, and so on. So you will change this, you hit enter, and LinkedIn, the basic non-paid LinkedIn, will provide you with a search result, which will be people with zip code or zip code within the radius. And actually, it's even better than the official paid zip code plus radius search in the paid version if you have LinkedIn Recruiter Lite or LinkedIn Recruiter or LinkedIn Recruiter Professional Services. You can do this officially in the advanced search. But this is actually even better because it will give you people also without zip code but working for a company which is in that location. So actually it's even better. If you want to be more methodical in terms of searching, you can download on this link, you can download talent sourcing checklist, where as you can see, you put there the role, and firstly it will tell you search through your ATS, then search through local databases, and then LinkedIn. And with LinkedIn, you need to do title search, you need to do keyword search, maybe you need to do industry search, maybe you need to do a company search. Even with accountants, as we had the example there, we could do a company search. Yeah, we could create a list of accounting companies, and we can be looking for just employees at those companies without any title, or not without any title, but regardless of any title. We will be just looking for employees of those companies, where still we can expect that 85+% will be accountants, because yeah, those are accounting companies, right? So who would other be there? So not all of these, that's why those boxes are there, so you can just check if this is applicable for you or not. Number 2, maximize your response rate by extreme engagement when necessary. As we said, you saw the funnel. On average, you need to approach 70 people, or maybe 50 depending on the countries, but let's say 50 to 70 people to get that one higher. The problem is that sometimes, for example, you have just 20 specialists in that area. There is nobody else to approach. So you need to do something more with these 20 people to get the output. You are not able to maximize you are not able to increase this number. It's 20, that's done. But what you can increase is the response rate. Yeah, and the ultimate goal is that all of these people will actually reply to you. As you can see, in this case, we call it video job description. It's a video on YouTube, but the video on YouTube is not done by a recruiter, but it's done in this case by a senior backend developer. Yeah, it's company 2N, technological company. They are doing like intercoms and so on. So not only software, hardware as well. And so these guys done this video. We are this at this company. We are looking for, I don't know, backend developer with these skills and so on. And you as a recruiter or sourcer uses this video to actually instead of the official description of the job role. So normally you would send over, for example, LinkedIn invitation or email. The description of this position is, and you would put there the link. In this case, you use this instead of the text description. And as you can see in this case, those guys had, or like the recruiter using this video, had 58% response rate. So the message was sent by a recruiter, but the content of the message was a video with the real person. Like recruiters are a real person as well, but the people from the business, like in this case, developers. You can see 162 views, but the job is done. The role is placed. Yeah, the candidate is placed for this role. Yeah, because 162, maybe they send it to 100 people. Some of them watch that twice, maybe. So this video doesn't aspire to be 10,000 views video. Another angle how you can do it, you as a sourcer or recruiter, is with individual video approach. For example, with loom.com. In this case, this is Markéta. This is the real, this GIF is actually from a real video, from the real approach we did for this candidate called Jakub Šustek. And as you can see, Markéta will say something like, "Hello Jakub," and talk more about his profile. So she's actually scrolling down through his profile and explaining what she wants from him. So with the loom.com, it's a Google Chrome plugin where you just click on the button in the Google Chrome. It will launch the camera. You are doing the video, blah 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 blah. Then you stop the video. The video is uploaded to you to cloud, basically to the plugin. You have a link to the video. You will send the link to a candidate. Candidate will click on the link, and the candidate will actually see the thumbnail, the preview of the video. And in the preview of the video, there is his, in this case, his LinkedIn profile. So there is 100% chance, basically, that he will click the video. And the one bonus, which you don't have here for the YouTube video, is that you will get a notification when the person actually watched the video. So you can, in your database, you can say, okay, this person watched that video, perfect, and now I can, for example, pick up a phone and call to the person and say, hey, I noticed that you already saw the video, so what do you think about it? Definitely, as you can see, this is not a cold call. Cold call would be calling to this person like at the first place. Here we prepare, we kind of warm the candidate by the video, and we are calling in the second wave. And the number 3 is do it as fast as possible. The time variable is really important, right? We need to be quick, fast in terms of costs, in terms of that you have loads, you have a ton of work you need to handle over like day by day or month by month, of course. So why not to automate some of the tasks which can be already automated? Yeah. For example, here you have a different kind of tools, including PeopleCamp, Phantom Buster, Linkit Helper, DuckSoup, Machine Sourcer, Jitbit, which you can use to automate different kind of tasks. So, for example, this picture here, what you can see, it's actually kind of like behind me. This is plugin which is called Linkit Helper, which is a plugin for LinkedIn, and it helps you to automate various operations on LinkedIn. So you can automate sending of LinkedIn invitations. You can automate sending of LinkedIn messages. You can automatically open people's profile, endorse people, actually delete people from your profile if that's the case. Yeah. So for example, imagine that I found, I don't know, 500 accountants in Berlin, and I want to approach them with a personified, customized message, but on autopilot. You can do that with this. Yeah. So first you click on collect. The collect phase will actually, it's 5 minutes process. It will collect all 500 candidates from the LinkedIn search. Then you will click on the invite and you will prepare the message. So you can use variables in the message. So as I said, the message will be personified for the person. You can use something like dear, Mr., and now you can use, for example, a hashtag, a last name hashtag, and it will put there the real surname of that person. I noticed that you work as, and again, you can put there hashtag, title, hashtag, at the company, hashtag. So the person will actually receive a message with information from his or her profile, as well as you would maybe do it when sending the messages manually. But in this case, this software will do it for you. Then you just hit send, and I would say the safest way how to do it is 100 invitations every day. When you are sending messages, you can afford to do 150 messages every day. And with this tool, you can actually see how it's done, yeah? Because it's a robot which is simulating your work. So you can see how it types, how it scrolls through the profile, how it click the buttons, and so on. Jitbit is, for example, a tool where you can automate whatever you can do manually. You can teach Jitbit to automate. Yeah. My favorite tool is Phantom Buster, because there is actually a list of blacklisted LinkedIn plugins. Blacklisted means that even for usage of LinkedIn Helper, LinkedIn can say, hey, Mr. User, you are probably using some automation tool. Just please comply with our user agreement, blah, blah, blah. Because LinkedIn, as well as any other site, can actually see if someone if you use some kind of plugins or not. That's why I like Phantom Buster, because Phantom Buster is not a tool, it's not a plugin. It's actually on a server side. It's a server side software, so there is no plugin involved. And but basically the principle is the same. Phantom Buster works also for Facebook, Twitter, GitHub, any other operations you can do on the social network or in between, for example. Yeah, so you can combine more operations together. And another positive effect of Phantom Buster is that it's a server-side application, so you don't need to have your laptop opened. Of course, LinkedIn Helper works only when your laptop is opened. Yeah? When you close your laptop, it's paused. Connectifier, Social Links, Discoverly, PropHead. I already mentioned these tools at the beginning. Why do I put it into this category? Do it as fast as possible. Imagine that you approach 100 people every day. If you are able to spend 1 minute less per candidate, it means 100 minutes savings of time every day, basically. Yeah. So imagine I opened this Jan Mužík, his LinkedIn profile, and in the top, somewhere probably here, in the top right corner from your perspective, you can see links to his other social media profiles like Stack Overflow, Facebook, and so on. So you can just click on, for example, the FB, and it will open his Facebook profile in another separate tab. You can do the same vice versa from Facebook. Yeah? So the bottom picture is his Facebook, and over the PropHead plugin, I can see his Facebook, Foursquare, Google Plus. We know Google Plus, it's that already, Twitter, and so on. So it's a time saver. That's the main thing why I use it. That's why I put it in this relation to transhumanism. This is my sourcing stack. If you are interested in my sourcing stack, which I maintain, so it's a spreadsheet. If there are some changes, you will see the changes. So this is, I would say, the recommended tools for various operations which I personally use. Okay, so the final thing here, usually at the very end of my presentations, maybe at Sourcing Summit and so on, we showcase some technologies in real life. In this case, we have chosen face recognition. Face recognition, you probably heard of that. And you probably experienced that just, for example, on Facebook. Imagine that when you open, for example, Facebook, you upload there some photo, some picture. Sometimes it happens that your friends are automatically tagged. Yeah? Automatically, Facebook knows that this person is this person. Yeah? Because the data is there. Facebook has a lot of data, right? Billions of users. And just because in the past you tagged quite a lot of people, you tag yourself in the pictures. Now Facebook has your footprint of your face and can easily tag you in any other pictures. China actually use it for social scoring of their people. So just by walking down the street, your face is being recognized, and actually those cameras on streets, they know that it's actually you. There are other countries actually in the European Union, including France, including Czech Republic, who are implementing this as well. So what we created is such a device. You can see this device here on the screenshot, or you can actually see the device here. It's a device we built here, kind of in our environment. The chassis is 3D printed on a 3D printer. There is a Raspberry Pi computer here. There is a camera here. There is a repro set. There is actually a display here. And what I can do, for example, is that I can create some kind of like selfie, and it will tell me.
José Kadlec, Recruitment Academy.
As you can see, it told me that I'm José Kadlec, Recruitment Academy, and here back on the display, I don't know if you will be able to see it. You can actually see my name, position, company, and link to my LinkedIn profile. If we check the web, you can see this is the picture I created, and as you can see here at the left bottom line, you can see my name and so on, and you can see, just let me get rid of this, similarity 99.8%. yeah, just by doing this. So actually face recognition, if you see what's inside, there is $35 Raspberry Pi 4, there is an OLED display, there is a 5 megapixel camera for $15, there are loudspeakers and amplifier for $2, yeah, and it's connected to Amazon AWS, so it's nothing, it's a petty cash. It's for $50 you can have face recognition with, as you can see, really precise, like almost 100% preciseness. Even if when you take a picture of just half of my face, it can tell that it's actually me. The thing is, because I showed you Facebook, I showed you, which actually we know that Facebook had a lot of problems recently with the privacy and so on. I showed you China, which is probably a negative example how the face recognition technology should be used. But now it's a question how to use it in recruitment and HR in a good way. I try to think of some. One of the examples might be maybe smart timesheets. Yeah? Instead of having some of your workers came to work at some time and so on, maybe some construction workers and so on, you can use easily, for example, this technology to do that. Candidate experience. Imagine that you enter the company, and just by opening the door, because the camera can see your face, we can say, dear Mr. blah blah blah, welcome to our company, and it can be actually customized the experience to you. Yeah, so sometimes it's called the recruitment experience, like what was the experience of the candidates throughout the recruitment process. It can be used there as well. People analytics. Maybe you heard of projects where you can create, it's called social graphs or social maps, actually it's called, and it measures how people in the company communicate to each other. What's the volume, what's the tonation, and so on. But of course it can be measured only by, for example, surveys, or it can be measured by how they communicate over Slack, and maybe it's measured how they communicate over email. Yeah. But when there is a colleague who's meeting other colleague, have a coffee and so on, it's not electronic communication, but with this device we can actually easily see who's meeting who, how often, and so on. Area-based sourcing. Imagine there is a conference, you go there, you take the picture of 500 people in the audience, you just take the picture, and ultimately, or video, because it can be done from the video as well, and output will be the list of people who are at the conference, just because that their face is, for example, on Facebook or LinkedIn. So you have their positions and so on. Identity verification, of course. Networking. Imagine sometimes the awkward situation where you meet someone and something like, did we met? You are not sure, and so on. The person knows you, you don't know the person. Imagine like something like Google Glass project with this face recognition, and you will immediately see, aha, this is this person. You will see the position and so on. It would make networking awesome. If you hate networking, this would make networking definitely awesome. Maybe you will find out some more ways how to use this. So as well as with any other any technology, you can use it for good or for bad. In this case, I recently found this. It's like a postcard actually. This is my father, and it's not a real postcard. You can see that my father is there next to a radio with antenna. So, and the picture and this postcard was done somewhere in 60s. Yeah. So imagine this radio, how people communicate in 60s. You can, for example, you probably heard of, I don't know, army radio, military radio, and so on. This was kind of like a WhatsApp or Facebook of 60s or 70s as well. The OK1 AGN, it was something like IP address in today's world. Yeah. So my father was in touch. What I find out, they usually exchange this postcard like this. It's called QSO. Thanks for the QSO. But I found a huge box full of these postcards. Yeah. So you can see from Japan, from Haiti, from Trinidad and Tobago, from Madeira, and so on. All of these people, like hundreds of people, were communicated with my father. They were sending him, and he was sending his postcard. It wasn't called postcard, but something like postcard to them. And my father is already dead for 30 years. But imagine, of course, military radios and so on. I was recently in Israel. There are everywhere the antennas and so on. It's for the the cyber wars, the cyber threats and so on. It's the tool which, of course, can be used for bad. But for example, in this case, my father used it for, imagine the Czech Republic in 60s, 70s, 80s. Communism, people were not able to communicate with people outside of the Czech Republic, for example, that easily. And my father actually helped them to do that through this technology. So I believe that even this technology, this little boy here, can be used for some good, and I'm eager to find something how we could use this, for example, in our topic, which is of course HR, recruitment, sourcing as well. So this is the topic. I hope that you got some insights from that. If you have some questions, if you have maybe some problems, if you want some like more tips, hints, and so on, don't be afraid to reach me back. My profiles are easily stalkable, let's say. So you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, my website, email, anything. So if you have any questions or maybe some proposals how to use this little body here, just let me know. See you later, and see you at next webinar.